In studio with us is a young professional by the name Douglas Nyandoro. Douglas is a counseling psychologist as well as an addiction therapist. He's also a founder member of Turning Point Counseling Solutions, and he's here with us to share his experiences as an addiction therapist as well as a counseling psychologist. Welcome, Douglas.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, and we're very glad to have you in studio.
Well,
probably let's just start from knowing you more than I've introduced you.
Yes.
Tell us briefly about yourself. Who is Douglas?
Well, Douglas Nyandoro is a young man in his early 30s, and I have my training background in counseling psychology, right, and as well as in addictionology. So for most of my working life, I've been in the healthcare field. And it's been a passion of mine serving people for now headed to 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm born again. I love Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Yes. And I am a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
As an addiction therapist and as a counseling psychologist,
yes.
Where did it begin?
Well, I started my practice at Kenyatta Hospital. That was in 2007. I started working at the Patient Support Center, where I was counseling, and especially I specialized with the addicts. Yes. And it was a privilege to work at Kenyatta National Hospital, where I worked with very senior counselors and consultants. And so I was able to get quite good exposure and experience dealing with numerous people and numerous cases from a cross-section of the society. Yes. Who had various challenges and issues in life. And so it was a fulfilling career or period, because we were able to help people. I had an impact in people's lives, and we saw lots of lives transformed and people reforming and getting back to their lives, whereas they had been hopeless and they had thought that life was not worth living, and even their relatives had given up on them.
I don't know if you can be able to give us a typical example.
Yes.
Or, lead us into what exactly you used to do as a counselor, or you do.
Okay. Well, basically, counseling or part of the addiction counseling focuses mostly on people's thoughts and behaviors and their beliefs and dysfunctional thinking patterns. And as a result of the distortions of life and reality, then people tend to have behavior that is not considered normal by society. And I wouldn't want to use the word abnormal. I would use the word imbalanced. Yes. Imbalanced behavior and life. And basically, the process involves meeting these people, or when they present themselves to us, then we get to understand them, we get to explore their situation, and after we've explored and understood their situation, then we are able to come up with an action plan or a solution to correct the problem that is existing in their life. And that one is that happens collaboratively between us and them. And us being the professionals, we just facilitate the healing process. Yes. And where we think they are making errors in judgment, then we are able to highlight that and correct that, of course, based on our professional training. And then we are able to monitor them on a weekly basis, where they come back and they give feedback on what they've been doing. And for sure, all those who implement what we agree on in therapy, then the action of implementing brings results in their change. And the results are visible. And people are able to say, really, yes, he's changed and his life has turned for the better. And that is a very gratifying feeling when you work with a client for a period of time and you see their life changing and them taking new roles in society and forming new relationships, and they have hope. They have hope in life, and that is just in a nutshell what we do.
You were at Kenyatta National Hospital.
Yes.
Until the year 2010.
Yes.
And then you made a move to as I mentioned earlier on,
Yes.
that you are a founder member of Turning Point Counseling Solutions.
Yes.
So what necessitated your move from Kenyatta National Hospital to just go, I can say, into the darkness,
Yes.
the unknown world, to begin such an organization as a young person?
Yes. Thank you. Now, you know, it's a burden. It's a burden that I had, you know. As much as I was helping people, God put a burden on me that, yes, you are helping people, but you can help more.
Yes.
And the impact you can have can be much bigger than a few clients a day, or quite a certain number of clients in a week. And you are restricted to a certain geographical location. And having the understanding of the magnitude of the mental problems and the addiction problems and the drug problems we have in our country, then it was not possible just to settle for the minimum. And yet a door of having a bigger impact had been brought to my awareness through the concept of having a bigger impact. So that is how the burden of wanting to reach out to the cross-section of society, not just the client who's unwell, but we are talking about their relatives. We are talking about the community. We are talking about the church. We are talking about the schools, the young people who are still ignorant and don't have this information. And the idea was, how can we make sure that all those people who have not gotten to my counseling room don't get here? Because yes, curative is good, but preventative is the best. So that was a burden that I had.
You were not afraid that going out there probably and leaving a salary that
Yes.
you know was regular and going to start something that you are not very sure of how it was going to turn out. Did that scare you in a way?
Well, it was a challenge, but as I said, it was an act of faith, and it was a burden that was in my heart, and I believe it's God who put that in me. And I honestly was convinced that when God gives you a vision, He also provides for that vision. And He was able to provide the resources we need to start the NGO. So we were 3 founder members, me being one of them. And so we launched out. It was not a matter of lacking resources or not being able to get the resources out there in the field. It was a matter of awareness that the people out there, the magnitude of the need out there is so enormous. And it's such an unexploited market in terms of helping people. And therefore, the issue of resources was not the factor. Yes. The issue was the impact we had to make in people's lives and prevent the small children, prevent the breaking families, prevent the crying and hurting mothers, give hope to the fathers who had given up on their sons and daughters, and just make sense of it all and bring life to what it should be.
One of the initiatives or projects that you've been involved in
Yes.
as Turning Point Counseling Solutions is that you've been able to rehabilitate or help women who are drug addicts.
Yes.
In, what is the place?
Dagoretti.
Dagoretti.
Yes.
And right now, I visited that place. I
Yes.
talked to those women, and they are very, very happy about the work that you people have done.
Yes.
And the influence that you've had in their lives.
And the Dagoretti women's concept was part of the ideas that we had, and what kind of reach we had wanted to make into the community. And I'm sure they told you, these ladies, they were living a life of hopelessness. And when we talked to them, when we visited them in the initial days, they would tell us, nobody has ever cared about me. Nobody has ever told me this is wrong. We come from a very humble background. We lack, and by all means, there is no opportunity to advance in life. And where they were was totally hopeless. And they would even tell us, really, there is nothing to do in life. So as we are waiting to die, this is the only thing we can think of doing. And this is what we've been doing, others for 10, 15, 20, even others 30 years. And that has been their life. And surely that can't be right. You know, that can't be right. And that is what we are trying to do. And so we sought to rehabilitate them, to show them that there is something better, and really there is hope. You don't have to settle for hopelessness.
Yes.
And that is how we began working with them. And of course, in the initial stages of reaching out to them, they were a little bit hard.
Yes.
But with the time, they managed to open up, and we set up a center there in Dagoretti where we would meet weekly, and we would start with devotional words, and then we would talk to them. So we had an initial group of 20. But I can tell you, as we were recruiting the first group of 20, it could have possibly been 200. Because of the capacity and resources that we had to limit only to the first 20.
So there was more members who were willing to leave that kind of business that they were involved in.
Yes, yes,
so that
yes.
they can be able to transform.
Actually, as we are talking right now, there are 200 ladies that we can meet and pull out of the illicit brew and, of course, the commercial sex work that some of them end up engaging in. And because of our limited capacity, you know, we can only have so few. And so we've settled on starting with the first 20. We already have a waiting list of another 20. And that list could easily be 100 or 200.
What is currently going on with this group that you already have?
Well, the first 20 for sure. In the last 3 months, we've been able to take them through an empowerment program. We've been able to do a 3-month certificate course on business management skills. And that includes generating business ideas and bookkeeping and accounting, and stock taking and control. So as that has been happening, well, that was the first part of the program. So they've graduated from the business management skills course, and now we are doing the second part of the program, which is the rehabilitative aspect. Yes. We are meeting weekly to do now the drug and substance abuse rehabilitation. After selling these drugs and after using them for this so long, they have that aspect of addiction or dependence, which must be treated. And we do that every weekly through a 12-step program, where we are meeting with them and they are sharing their experiences, and we are counseling them. And as much as now they are empowered with business skills, it would not be wise to put somebody who's an addict in a business. Yes. They would get the money then, and then they would be tempted to go back to using the illicit drugs. And so that is the second phase of it. And as we are counseling them and treating them, then as we assess them and as we see their recovery level, then we graduate them.
What I like most about your program is that it not only rehabilitates these people away from their drugs, and and also empowering them for, with business skills, but it also, brings them to God.
Yes.
And I don't know, my challenge then is, do you think as a church we are doing enough to be able to reach to such groups of people? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because actually all these ladies, majority of them, about 18 of them, 18 out of 20, have accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. And as we are speaking now, they don't sell those illicit drugs. And they don't go to the place that they used to go, the environment that they used to frequent so often. They don't do that. They are now, actually, some of them are selling vegetables to earn a daily bread. They are selling this. They are engaging in positive activity as we've been encouraging them. But I can tell you, it is a mission field. It's a mission field in itself, and it's a mission field that the church has not penetrated into for whatever reasons, or they are not even aware that it exists. And so as Christians, and especially as Seventh-day Adventists, whatever village you can pick, there are people selling illicit drugs, and it's not because they want to. It's because they have no other alternative. And as the church, if we can go in and tell them there is a better way, and we can help you out of this, we can empower you to do business or live life the right way, and in the process of that, bring the gospel message to them, and let the gospel, the work of, and let the Holy Spirit do His work in them.
Yes.
And that is what brings the changes. It's not us, it's the Holy Spirit working in them and just using us as a bridge to facilitate the change that we are seeing in their lives. Yes.
Are there any other projects currently that you're running in conjunction with the one that is going on in
sure. We've also had for all these years that we've been in existence, since 2010, we've also been doing the alternative rites of passage for boys and girls, and this is a program we've been doing in December, and of course we are saying, as an African community, the rites of passage are a big thing, yes, and we cannot do away with it. And then as Christians, how do we give an alternative to the African practice? Because when you look at the African practice, it's a practice that involves female genital mutilation. It's a practice that involves putting the boys together, and during that time of initiation rites, the content that is being put into them is actually distorted. It's not biblical. And so that window of opportunity when a boy is graduating into manhood or a girl is graduating into womanhood, they are pumped with the distortions, and that does not add any value to them. Yes. So as people, as turning point, we also saw that as an opportunity where we can bring these people who are going through these rites of passage, and as they are going through them, we have an opportunity to impart values, to impart the truth, to impart knowledge that adds and builds their character, so that after that, then they are responsible and productive citizens in this kingdom, and also preparing them for the kingdom to come. So, yes.
If you could give one piece of advice, yes, to probably young leaders and other young people within the church who, yes, are probably sitting on potential, yes, because we've got many young people within our churches today who probably are endowed, yes, in various capacities, yes, but most of them are not doing as much as they could be doing.
Yes, yes, I would say this. Personally, I credit a lot of my growth in character to the church. We served with you in the youth department, and I've also held various posts in the church, and I can tell you that if we capitalize on the leadership opportunities we have in the church, then we would be able to identify our talents. We'd be able to identify our gifts, yes, and then we can now package those gifts. Of course, we'll use them in the church, but then we would also see that they can be used in the wider context of the community, and we are a gold mine of potential that is just laying dormant, yes, that if we can tap into it, then we can have the impact that we need to have as young people, especially in our church.
Because like today, there are so many things and issues that young people are involved in, yes, things that affect young people, and therefore their attention is easily, pulled, yes, by other things that don't necessarily help them, yes, or even help the society that they live in. What concerns you most about some of these changes that are taking place in the world today affecting young people?
Well, we live in a fast-paced world. We are actually in a fast-paced world, and things are changing so fast. And if you're not careful, you'll be caught off guard, because peer influence is everywhere. It doesn't apply necessarily to the young people. It cuts across the spectrum, and the availability and the ease and the pleasure that our society offers can easily distract you from the sacrifice that we are actually supposed to be making in the church. And so we tend to go more on the easy issues or the easy things, and the mile we are supposed to walk in church as Christians to serve takes a secondary seat, and by virtue of just not being conscious or not being alert, you find that now our predominant attention or philosophy is more influenced by the world, and yet the Christianity the Christianity roles that we are given as young people is unattended to. So, and that is the problem, you know, that is the problem. What you focus on really is what you magnify, and the focus is not where it should be.
Yes.
So if we can refocus back to what we are supposed to be doing, and really see the value and the significance of what we've been called to do as young people and as the church, and then step up to that role, then we will see the fulfillment and the beauty of serving and impacting our fellow mankind and society. And as I told you, then from that gratification, once you've felt it, there is nothing that compares to it, and you'd never want to look back. So that is what I would urge young people to come back to that place where we should be, our rightful place in society, and realize that we are the light and the salt of the world, and we need to be. We shouldn't be looking for light elsewhere, yet we should be the light.
As we end,
yes,
probably 10 years from now,
yes,
when you look back, what do you want to see?
I can tell you, I am seeing us reaching a wider cross-section. I am seeing us not just doing the preventative or the curative. I am seeing us also getting into the rehabilitative aspect of it, where we have in-treatment rehabilitation centers that focus on the Christian concept, not the secular. Yes. Because statistics show that the success rate of Christian rehabilitation is 71% times more effective and higher than the secular. So you can see what potential we are sitting on and how many people would be healing and benefiting. But because we don't have these facilities, then the success rate or the rehabilitation rate is very low. And people are dying, and they don't have to die just because we've not thought of it, or we have not been empowered with the resources to go out there and do the work that is overdue. Yes. Your final word is my final word is simply this, that we have to step up and meet the needs of our people. Our society is hurting, and there is a lot of people there waiting for us to give them the solution that they need. God has put that solution in us, and as long as we don't take it out there, there's somebody we are denying life. There's somebody we are denying progress. There's somebody we are denying service. So it's up to us to realize what is in us and tap it and take it to where it should be. And that applies to you and me and everybody else, because there is definitely something you can do to help in issues of mental health, in issues of making somebody's life better, in issues of providing a solution to somebody who has a problem despite of what it is. So let's wake up and let's step up to the challenge. Thank you so much. Thank you. Asante sana.